Welcome back, students. In the previous day topic, we discussed about how the gene will be regulated in the cell. How the function of a gene will be regulated by its promoter region and the regulator, repressor genes, everything. And as a part, I will try to recap those things. In a gene, we have two regions broadly. One is structural region and the one is regulatory region. That regulatory region will regulate the functioning of the structural gene, whether it has to function or it has to suppressed or it has to inactivated. So these things will be regulated by the regulatory gene. So in the case of lag operon and in the case of prokaryotes, we know that the genes are polycistronic. That means one gene can function or code more than one protein. So as we discussed, the Z gene, Y gene and A gene. G gene is producing beta galactosidase and Y gene is producing trans permease and A gene is producing trans acetylase. So this is belongs to one functional unit, that is one operon, but it is producing three products. And if the lactose is there, that acts as an inducer and activates the operator, and the genes will produce respective enzymes. And if the lactose is not there, there is no need of even production of those enzymes. So then regulatory gene, that is I gene, will produce a repressor mRNA, and the repressor mRNA undergoes translation and produces the repressor protein. So as a result of that, that repressor protein will come and bind to the operator, and it will not facilitate the movement of the RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase cannot initiate the process of transcription, and as a result of that, the transcription itself will be stopped and further no translation itself. So as a result of that, no enzyme will be produced. So here we have to know that E. coli bacteria, only first of all, it favors to take, it is enthusiastic to take glucose only, because no need of any digestion, it will simply enter into the body because it is a simple carbon molecule. Understanding? Now you can ask me, if glucose is there, lactose is there, so which will take by the E. coli? First of all, it will take glucose. If all the glucose is consumed, then only lactose will take, unless until lactose will not be taken by E. coli. And if glucose is not there, then only lactose will be taken by bacteria. If lactose is taken, that is the process to digest the lactose. First of all, it will release beta galactosidase, that will digest, that will break down the lactose into two molecules, because lactose is a 12 carbon compound, disaccharide, and it will be break down into two 6 carbon compounds. One is glucose and one is galactose. And immediately the permease will be released, and that is present on the membrane, outer membrane of the bacteria, and that will facilitates the enhances the entry of glucose and galactose into the cell. And after entering, trans acetylase will release, and that will do certain acetylations, CH3COOH group, it will add to the carbon molecules and then facilitates for the digestion. So this is the process of lag operon, how it will operate, how it regulates the secretions of the different enzymes. So those things we discussed yesterday, and still we completed the core topic of the molecular biology, that is molecular basis of inheritance chapter. Now we have to know the great achievement of the scientists in the 20th century. That is nothing but know about ourselves, simply we can call. Still 20th century, at molecular level, we don't know about ourselves, and the steps are laid down in the 20th century, in the 1990s, and they are initiated a amazing project, that is Human Genome Project. Human Genome Project. Human Genome Project. So what is this? What are the aims of this? And what is the goals of that? And what are the outcomes? Why they had thought to design the project? That means still at that time, this project was started in 1990. 1990. Total world, scientists among all over the world came into a single platform to know about the genetic composition of a human being. Why? What is the need to know? Because as you know that our DNA is containing millions of base pairs. Almost 3000 millions of base pairs we have. And what is the need to know? Because there are so many genetic disorders are present in the human beings. And so many, for example, in the previous days, I think you know about insulin. Now you can observe people are taking insulin injections, hormonal injections. They are injecting the hormones. From where it is manufacturing? That insulin is now, it is artificially manufacturing by the E. coli bacteria. But previously, 30 or 40 years back, from pigs, from horse, they kill that pig and they take the pancreas, and from that they are taking insulin, and that insulin is injected to humans for diabetic patients. But now this is not the case. Now we are taking the insulin from the bacteria. How it is possible? First of all, by knowing the sequence of the gene. For example, this is the insulin gene. By knowing the sequence, we are identifying the same sequence in the E. coli bacteria. And we are, by using rDNA technology, we will discuss in detail what is rDNA technology. By using rDNA technology, we are injecting the gene into the E. coli bacteria, and E. coli is now producing the insulin. So no harm to any animal, and the side effects is very 0.001% side effects, 0.00. But here the side effects is 30%. Some people are showing adverse side effects when they are taking insulin from the pigs or horse. But here you can imagine 0.0001% means. So what it is? So first of all, we have to know which gene is responsible for the production of insulin. So that identification, like that so many diseases. For example, sickle cell anemia. And for example, so many genetic disorders like phenylketonuria. People are dying like anything with these genetic disorders. Before that, why the people are dying? Why the young babies within 2 or 3 months, at least within days, they are dying due to some genetical disorders. So all the scientists among the world came into a platform, single platform, and they started the initiation to discover what is there, which disease is responsible, which gene is responsible for the expression of certain diseases. So first of all, if you know the gene, then only we can do anything. If you are telling to your mom that you are feeling hungry, then only she can understand and she can prepare the food. If you don't tell that you are hungry, how she can ask you for food? Like that, if you know the genetic sequence, which gene is causing which disease, then only we can do something. So for that purpose, they laid foundation to discover the gene sequence, and they started the process. And it is not in a simple, easy task, because, for example, to know one nucleotide sequence, for example, to discover this is G here in the gene, this is G. To know that $3 US will require to know, to identify here this is some G or A or T. To identify like this, it requires $3. Then what about millions of base pairs? Millions of base pairs into 3 into millions of base pairs. So it is $1 billion project. That means 1,000 crores like that. So who will fund it? So the big boss, US and UK, and so many countries, China, Japan, France, so many countries started funding for the project, because it cannot be done by a single country. Ultimately, this is for human welfare. So many the developed countries came together and they started investing, and $1 billion project. So slowly they started the sequencing of total 2.2 meters gene that contains millions of base pairs. It is. So they started sequencing. So they cannot directly start the sequencing of the human beings for that purpose, because human gene is very vast. So that's why first of all they started the sequence of the E. coli bacteria and the Caenorhabditis. Caenorhabditis means it belongs to nematode. It is a very useful organism. It is not a pathogen, because as you know that all the nematodes, they are parasites, roundworm, pinworm, hookworm, like that. But here the Caenorhabditis is non-pathogenic, so it is easy for describe their genetic code. So Caenorhabditis and so many organisms like that, they started sequencing, and they know the sequence of the genes, nucleotides, and finally they started the sequencing of human beings. Now we have to know the interesting facts about the Human Genome Project. So it is there in your textbook. You can go through that. So first of all, you have to know one more thing. These number of base pairs are there. So these number of base pairs can be has to store somewhere else, and you know that 3 into 10 power 9 base pairs are there total in the human gene. And if you take a book of 1000 pages, and in one page you can write 1000 letters like A, G, T, C, like that sequence, and this contains 1000 pages. Like that, we need at least 3300 books to store one sequence of DNA, one human DNA. If you take a DNA from human beings and if you are writing that sequence, we need 3300 books. That much vast DNA we have. So how it is possible? Who will store 3300 books? And is it easy? If anybody wants the sequence, how they can remember? So now the need of bioinformatics, and a new subject it is evolved from 1990s, that is bioinformatics. That means information about a life, information about a human being, information about an animal, that will be stored in a electronic way. That means they are preparing a database. In that database, simply they can store 3300 books. Information can be stored in 1 GB of information. Example. No need of these many books. And whenever you want, you can directly click a gene. No need to refer all the books. If you want a gene, for example insulin gene, directly you can go through the database and you can search for the insulin gene, and you can get that particular sequence only, not full gene sequence. So this is the greatness of the subject bioinformatics. They are storing each and every gene information, each and every nucleotide sequence. They are storing in a smart electronic way. So this is the importance of the bioinformatics. And now we have to know some important facts about our Human Genome Project. So what is the greatness of this project? As you know that total human body contains approximately 30,000 genes. And I told you yesterday, total about 100% of genome, only 2% of genes are coded for proteins. Coded for proteins. And the remaining 98% is regulatory portion. Regulatory or junk portion. Because some DNA, still we don't know the function of that DNA sequence. So if you don't know that, that is a junk DNA. That is not at all responsible for either regulatory or for coding the sequence proteins. So that is junk DNA. So total remaining junk and regulatory portion is 98%. Only 2% is coded for proteins. This is one of the fact. And another fact, how to sequence 3 billion base pairs. Total we have 3 billion base pairs we have. 3 billion into $3. How much it will cost? So many institutes, so many countries started funding for this project. And it took 13 years to finish this project. To have complete database, complete gene sequence, it took 13 years. 13 years mega project it is. To sequence the human DNA. How much difficult it is, you can assume. How many scientists are involved in this? How they contributed, how they sacrificed their lives for the welfare of human beings. And the sequence and storage is one of the important challenge. So they also crossed the challenge by creating the databases. And one more thing, legal issues, ethical and legal issues. They have to see this one also, ethical and legal issues. Because what will happen, as you know that we can create the human beings, we can create the new animals by the process of cloning. So what is cloning? I will take one or two classes to describe all these things. Cloning we don't have, but for the interesting facts these are, which will make you interested in further research also. So what is cloning, and what is rDNA technology, and what is the important biotechnology processes? We will know. We will see. I will take 2 or 3 classes. And what is a cloning? For example, this is an animal. This is an animal, and you can take any cell from anywhere, from here or here or here. By taking a single cell, we can create again another animal. Same ditto copy paste. So if you know the genetic sequence, for example, a human being is a human, and if you know the genetic sequence of that, you can create the exact copy of this human being. Then ethical issues will come. For example, he is a good boy and he is doing crimes. He is doing crimes and he is a notorious killer. What will happen? The police will come and they will start interrogating him. He will not come outside. So these are the ethical issues. So to solve these ethical issues also, now each and every animal we can clone, but still human cloning was not legalized, because so many ethical issues will come, parental issues will come. Even the twins, the identical twins are not same. If you performing a DNA test, they will be different. But by cloning, the exact copy will come. So who is the husband? Who is the wife? So that ethical issues will come. And parental issues will come. Who is the father of that baby? So to solve all these things, human cloning was still, it is not allowed in the world. That much difficult it is. And one more thing, we have to use the technology for the welfare, not for the destruction of human beings. We have to use the technology for the welfare. So for that purpose, we have so many genetic disorders. We can use our technology, we can put our efforts to treat those diseases, not for creating the new issues. So that is the main aims and goals of the Human Genome Project. Understanding now, they sequenced so many organisms DNA. So some of those are they started from the smaller organisms, that is Drosophila, an insect fruit fly. Drosophila. So what is Drosophila? It is a fruit fly. You can see, for example, banana. If you take the banana, some small flies will move around, fly around that banana. Small flies, those are Drosophilas. And any fruit you can take small flies, so those are Drosophilas. And Caenorhabditis. Caenorhabditis. So this is a nematode. This is insect, Arthropoda. And bacteria, so many bacteria like E. coli and yeast. They sequence the yeast also. And rice, they sequence the rice and another plant, that is Arabidopsis. Arabidopsis. These plants also they sequenced, and then human DNA they sequenced during the genome project. And what they want to know? First of all, they tried in two ways. They want to sequence the RNA. They tried, that is sequencing of RNA. Sequencing of RNA and sequencing of whole DNA. Sequencing of whole DNA. So what is the difference between these two? Why they did two things? Simply they can sequence the whole DNA. So what is that purpose? See, this is a very great idea. That means in the process of transcription, I told you that RNA will be modified. For example, this is the RNA prepared, and while coming into the cytoplasm, it has to be modified. So that means here the introns are removed. The waste, which is not responsible for coding, is removed. So we don't need the waste material. We need exact the sequence which will coded for the proteins. So if you sequence this matured RNA without introns, that is useful. That will reduce the data. That will reduce the efforts. Whole DNA, for example, this is containing 3 billion base pairs. 3 billion base pairs. But only this coding, that is, we removed introns. Only exon sequence are there. So it will come up to 1 billion only. 1 billion base pairs. So the amount is reduced and we can get exact copy. No junk DNA, no waste DNA. So only the coded sequence we are getting. So for that purpose, they had taken sequencing of RNA. So those tags are known as expressed sequence tags. Expressed sequence tags, ESTs. That means those sequence only expressing the proteins. They removed entirely junk material, waste material. So that is one process. And to know whole DNA, normally they can take the whole DNA. So these are the two types they had taken, and they demonstrated the sequence of DNA. And how they taken and how they are doing cloning by doing the sequence, and those things we will see in the topic of DNA fingerprinting, etc. And now, what are the features of the Human Genome Project? And not project, what are the interesting facts about our human genome? As you know that we are having 30,000 base pairs, 30,000 genes, which coded for different types of proteins. And out of that, average each gene is containing 3,000 base pairs. That means ATGC sequence at least minimum 3,000. It should not be less than 3,000. The smallest gene contains 3000 bases. And the largest gene in our human body is dystrophin gene. Dystrophin gene. This is the largest gene in our body. This gene coded for the disease. If any, that is also a chromosome or a genetic disorder. If any sequence is missed in this, we can get a disease, that is Duchenne muscular dystrophy. That means muscle formation will not be taken place. So this is seen in the young guys, and before getting 10 years of age they will die because muscles are not developed, and they cannot be able to even sit or stand or anything. Muscle development is not takes place. This is the largest gene in our body. So that is the importance of this genome editing, to know the gene, which gene is responsible for which disease. And I will tell you how they can rectify the mistakes if they find out earlier. So this is one of the interesting facts. The largest gene is dystrophin gene, that is responsible for the disease Duchenne muscular dystrophy. If the gene is okay, no disease. But anything is mismatched, that means the bases are replaced by another base, then the disease will come. And as you know that only 2% of our human DNA is responsible for the formation of proteins, and we have chromosomes. We have the chromosomes, all the genes. We have to know one thing: genes are present in chromosomes. All chromosomes are winded together and forms the chromatin, that is DNA plus histones. This is DNA, and chromatin is present in the nucleus. Nucleus is present in the cell. This is the structural organization. And total how many chromosomes we have? 23 pairs. And out of that 23 pairs, for example, 22 is a common, and XX, total 23 pairs, 22 and XY. So out of these 22 pairs, first chromosome pairs have largest number of genes. Chromosome have genes. First chromosome has 2968 genes. It is first chromosome having 2968 genes. And the Y chromosome, here it is having less number of genes, that is only 231 genes are present in this chromosome. For example, see here, this is a chromosome. This is all the DNA sequence only, folded like that. This is the genes present like this. This is the sequence of the DNA only. So some segment is one gene. So the Y chromosome is having 231, and the X chromosome is having the first chromosome is having largest number of genes, that is 2968 genes. And one more thing we have to know: SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphs. So what are those? Single nucleotide polymorphs means, for example, we take one gene, and this sequence is G, T, C, A, T, like this. This is in one person. For example, this gene is responsible for insulin. And take the same gene in another human being, the same insulin gene. Like this, the gene contains thousands of nucleotides. So commonly the gene contains almost all the same Wherever you go, the gene is same only. But only one nucleotide will change, either at any location. So that is responsible for causing certain diseases also. If you can find out the single nucleotide polymorphs, you can easily find out that disease. So only one nucleotide will change. That will result into the expression of disease. So that is SNPs. And you know that one more disease we have. What is that? Sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia. That means the blood, this is the shape of a red blood cell, but if the person is affecting with sickle cell anemia, the blood cell will be like this, because the surface area is decreased. As a result of that, oxygen cannot bind, and finally the patient will die. So what is there in the sickle cell anemia? What will happen? The whole DNA sequence, for example GAG, and this is all the sequence. This is normal gene, and this gene is replaced by, see here, only one nucleotide is changed. Single nucleotide polymorph changed. So due to the single change, the amino acid sequence will be changed. As a result of that, protein will be changed, and results into the expression of the disease, sickle cell anemia. This much important. Even a single nucleotide changes in the sequence of the gene, that results into the expression of a disease. So how they can rectify the issues? How they can rectify the disease? So different scientists, here we have to know the role of scientists is very great here. How they are discovering these many diseases, and how they are trying to modify different diseases. So that is biotechnology. By using biotech and molecular biology techniques, that much important. That's why molecular biology, by using that, they are treating the diseases. How? For example, this is I am taking a pregnant woman, and from pregnant woman womb, they will take from, for example, she confirmed the pregnancy in the 3rd month, and after that, within 2 months, 1 to 2 months, that means total 5 months. At the time of 5th month, they will take, at the time of 5th month, they will take some amniotic fluid. They will take some amniotic fluid from the mother womb. That means the baby, from the baby. They will take some cells, and from that cell they crush the cells, and they will take the DNA outside. Take DNA outside. From taken this one, they will sequence the whole DNA. Already they are taken the healthy human being's DNA. Human DNA is there. Human DNA sequence is there. This is reference. This is reference. So this is the sequence. 2.2 meters total. 3 billion bases sequence is there. Now they are taking the DNA of a fetus. This is the sequence. Total 2.2 meters DNA sequence. This is 2.2 meters DNA, healthy DNA sequence. And now they will start observing each and every nucleotide. For example, this is a gene of insulin gene. Now what they will do? They will compare this sequence and this sequence. If, for example, if any mistake is there in this sequence, GAG, but this is the healthy, but A is replaced by U. Now the insulin disease, that diabetes will come to that baby in the future. Is there any chance like that? They will see. If the chance is there, they will try to modify this one and replace this one by A. Some things they can do, and they replace this one and they put the new DNA sequence in that. So as a result of that, what will happen? The baby, if they will come outside, they cannot have that diabetes. So like that they can change the sequence, so and protect the baby from the disease. And another disease, hemophilia. That means the blood will not clot. For example, any injury happened, the blood will not stop if the patient is having hemophilia. So what will happen? Then the person will die due to loss of blood. So to protect that, they will sequence, and if any mistake is there, they will correct and they will replace. So we have to have some education about this one. Everyone should identify. For example, the most cases will happen in congenital marriages, close relative marriages. For 2 or 3 generations, they are having the same, between the same families. We have to observe the sequences, because some diseases will come due to congenital marriages, very close relative marriages. So first of all, we have to take the advice of the doctor, and the doctor will send this report to the labs like CCMB, and their scientists will do the mapping of the genes. Some important diseases are there: phenylketonuria, hemophilia, DMD, sickle cell anemia, like that some diseases are there. So scientists will do the sequence, and if not at all any disease is there, they didn't observe any disease, and that is the healthy DNA, then they will inform to the doctor, and doctor will tell to continue. If any deadly diseases are there in that fetus, then doctor will advise us to take abortion, because that is very good. Because what will happen if the diseased child will come outside? The child has to suffer whole life, and the parents has to suffer. So within the 2 or 3 months, if we abort, then it is very happy, because the child will be suffer like anything due to the diseases. So they will abort it. So this is the advanced futures which will helpful for the human welfare. So each and everyone, we have to know about these things. We have to sequence the DNA for deadly diseases. That is available in so many labs. That is very famous now. Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad. Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, Hyderabad. So these labs, what they will do? They will map the DNA and they will inform us if any disease is there. So as a result of that, we can protect our child. And if some minor diseases are there, by taking medications, we can protect the child even in the early stages of the disease. And so many cancers are there. We can map that cancer causing genes and we can modify it if we know in the early stages. So as a result of that, the baby will be safe. So this is the usefulness of the Human Genome Project, how they will sequence the DNA. And tomorrow we will discuss the DNA fingerprinting. And once the physical classes will be started, again we will explain the greatness of the Human Genome Project and how they are sequencing. Everything we will see again once the physical classes are started. And if you have any doubt, you can call me and you can text me, and don't postpone and don't accumulate your doubts. Okay, we are free to solve your doubts at any time, so you can contact us. Thank you so much.